Hi everyone, I am Lee Hill, your hair coach. I want you to really quick just listen to this video. I'm gonna show you her face and everything. I was on TikTok, this video actually popped up in my feed and I was so put off by it because I don't know what to say, I was put off by it, but I was so elated. I know it sounds bad that someone had the balls to really talk about the state and the culture of the black hair salons and the black hairstylists and what the client goes through. So I'm gonna play half. I'm gonna speak about the half, and then I'm gonna play the other half. It's just like a three minute and 50-second video. Okay.
Why does being a black girl trying to get your hair done oftentimes have to be such a traumatic, disrespectful, horrible, and just downright frustrating experience? I cry when I'm frustrated, so for the purposes of this video, we'll just cut it off if that starts to happen. I scheduled an appointment for 10:15. Took me 30 minutes to get there. I get there on time, even though I know I'm not going to be seen on time because that's just the culture and nature of these salons. And I sit there for 15 minutes. No one says anything to me. The woman doing my hair, her assistant, asked me what I'm getting done, and I was like, I just need a maintenance. Sit there for another 15 minutes. So at this point, it's 30 minutes I've been waiting. Mind you, my appointment is at 10:15. They know I'm there, and the person that's supposed to be doing my hair is dyeing a wig. I see someone sitting in the chair waiting, and I had already knew at that moment that I had been double booked because, again, this is the culture in a lot of these salons. So at this point, I've been waiting for 30 minutes, and they finally come over and take me to get me to wash my hair. This is with the stylist assistant. The stylist finally cuts in and just goes, every time you come in here, you're in such a rush, and you have to understand that the nature of the business has changed. The nature of the business, what does that have anything to do with me? As far as being in a rush, my appointment was for 10:15. You are now seeing me at 10:45. I patiently sat there for 30 minutes, and you're telling me I'm giving you anxiety because my energy every time I come in here is in a rush? I'm giving you anxiety because I want to be seen on time. I want my time to be respected. And the crazy part is, after she told me this, that I bring anxiety into her space and I need to be patient, after me waiting for 30 minutes of being patient, I start apologizing to this woman. Here's the waterworks. I understand that there are a lot of people who enjoy spending their entire day in the salon. I'm not one of those people. If I book an appointment for 10:15, I want to be seen at 10:15. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. But because I know that the culture of a lot of these places is you just get in there and you're seen whenever, I didn't say anything. And I didn't say anything for 30 minutes. But she is well.
So I definitely want you guys to comment and talk about your experience in the black hair salons. It's not to just focus on that, but I have to talk about it because being a retired hairstylist, right? I've worked in both salons simultaneously, always throughout my career, besides the fact of training and teaching other cosmetologists and different things like that. But one of the things that I've always, even when I was a hairstylist, I remember I used to have to work like 4 a.m. because I had clients that had to fly out, whatever their job was. So they needed me there early, whether it was to put a hair system on because they had hair loss, or they had extensions, or they just wanted a nice cut, whatever it was. And I remember, like, when the client would leave, I would wait and I would book my people, right? And I would book relaxers every hour. If they had a wash, they wanted a wash and set, I would book them every 30 minutes, right? If it was an extension, I would book my extensions early in the morning, anywhere from, like I said, 4 a.m. all the way up until 12, right? Or I'm sorry, not till 12, till 10, right? Because I may have 2 or 3 right in that morning, depending on what it is. If it's an installation, if it's maintenance, they go into the wash and set. However, I would do all of that by 10, and then 10 is dedicated to my chemical clients. And then by the last client I would take is at 2 p.m. And that would be typically a hair extension, because hair loss clients don't come in when the salon is full. But I would have hairstylists be like, you're making us look bad. You're always here. And, it don't look like we all on the same team. We're not on the same team because my clients have driven like that. This young lady said she drove 30 minutes. You know how many salons she passed to come to that particular hairstylist salon? She drove 30 minutes. So she passed all of them because she believed in me. She trusts me, right? And she wants to pay me for the gift that God has given me. That's the first thing. So a lot of hairstylists, they don't have the mindset of thank God I have clients that are helping me to pay the bills in this salon and the bills in my home and taking care of my children. They don't think that way a lot of times, unfortunately. The second thing I wanted to say is the mindset of the hairstylist to actually, after the client waited for 30 minutes to tell her, you're causing me anxiety. Shouldn't the client have had anxiety? And the state of the business today, what is the state of the business today? Basically, you knew you had a client. Let's say that client had already did a consultation and she wanted her extensions colored. You should have set aside the time and said, hey, like I normally do. I had clients that say, hey, Lee, I want here's the extensions, come in, they do a consultation. I want my hair colored, right? If someone walked in off the street and they wanted that service done right then and there, and I look at my schedule and say, hey, I can't put you in now. You can either wait until this particular time or another day. But I can't do that because I have clients that have set the time. I don't like double booking clients because you know what? I like having a happy experience when my clients walk through the door. So, and I want my clients when they leave to say, oh no, go to Lee. Lee gonna have you in, out. I'm not in there all day. And she is extremely professional. I don't know if this stylist said, oh, that's money. That's like $300-$400, Maybe she said that. And that client had to wait, but it was so unprofessional. So I think a lot of times when we are in the beauty schools, right, when we're going to our hair schools, they need to have a course strictly on professionalism and how to deal with your clients, because this was really, really horrible for the lady to basically gaslight her because she's sitting there waiting and anticipating, and she had a right. And she does not have to sit in a salon all day. That is not what it's for. The salon is geared. You know how long certain things happen. So if you had the color extensions, you book all those people that want those color extensions, you put them in a certain time frame. You don't double book with somebody that's coming in just to get a wash, a maintenance. A maintenance typically is a wash and style. They want to touch up their scalp or whatever the case may be, their hairstyle. So this was so unprofessional in so many ways. And again, you had an assistant. What is the assistant doing? What's the purpose of having the assistant? You have that thing on rotation. That client comes through the door, you come take them, you wash them. You know how long it takes for her hair to dry? Because she has a sew-in, so she has to go under the dryer. All that took was you to just grab that client. Hey, thank God, thank you for making hair at 10:15. And shampoo her, style, get her done. You shampoo her as the assistant. Get that client into the hairstylist chair. Let her do whatever molding, whatever she needs to do, and put her under the dryer. And that, for the life of me, I don't understand with clients today having to pay late fees. This is something that I did that when you had to do extensions, not late fees, but you're going to make a deposit because I want to make sure you come because I set off a certain amount of time that I could have been doing other clients' hair, right? So you're going to, hey, you need to make a deposit. So I know for a guarantee you're going to be there. But to today's society and in the black hair salon, to tell your client, oh, you want to book an appointment with me, and you're late, you're going to pay a late fee charge. Really? But what happens when you're late? Does that person take that $25? I don't know how much they charge because I never did anything like that. Does that client get to take that off of her ticket and she doesn't have to pay that amount when you're late or when she has to sit there for 30 minutes? I just think that I've always had a big issue with it because my motto was I don't believe in creating bad habits, right? So those are bad habits. Having a client come drive in 30 minutes, she said, I know the culture is that I'm going to have to sit here and wait. That's horrible in itself. And just to see that, for me, the reason why I treated my clients the way I did, and it's not the fact of I was better than them. I just wanted people to be treated how I want to be treated. So when I call a certain company, I want the best customer service. When I come into a restaurant, I want the best customer service, right? When I go into a salon myself, right, I want the best customer service. So I want people, I want to treat people how I want to be treated. And the mindset of our black hairstylists, you say what you want to say, but it is really, really a terrible, terrible mindset. Yes, you may slay hair, but you don't know how to treat people a lot of times. I'm not talking about all hairstylists, because we have some phenomenal hairstylists. I see them on the social media, or when I go out, or my own experience with my hairstylist, right? I've seen great hairstylists, but we do have, unfortunately, we have a bad name, have had a bad name for such a long time when it comes to our clients, and they are sick of us. Well, not me, because I'm no longer in the game, but they are sick of it. They're tired. They don't want, that's why a lot of clients don't come to hair salons. They rather go to your home than go to hair salons, or they rather you come to their home than to go into a hair salon. Why? Because of the simple fact that this type of mindset, mentality in the service. And then just to top it off, she felt bad. This is a kind person, a very good client, because she sat there for 30 minutes, did not say anything, but they felt her energy. And instead of them saying, hey, you know what, I apologize for having you wait this long. I do value your time. I got caught up on something. I'm going to go ahead and take off this amount of dollars. That client would have been back. But instead, what did the client say? I don't know if I played that part yet, where she says, I apologize. And she hasn't got to that part where she says she's not going back because she doesn't want to keep causing that client anxiety. That stylist anxiety. Ooh, something is wrong. So let's go ahead and continue.
Within her rights to tell me that I am bringing anxiety into her space, even though that's not my intention. So even though that is not my intention, I did apologize to her. And now I also can't go back there because this is her work environment. I don't want her to have to deal with clients. I don't want to deal with clients who bring me anxiety. So I certainly am not going to go into this salon ever again to bring this woman anxiety. So if you know a place in DC that does sew-ins and is professional, please share that information. But anyways, back to the culture of a lot of these salons and what it is to be a Black woman trying to get your hair done. What we experience is absolutely rooted in racism. There are a lot of people who are allowed to go to hair school, cosmetology school, get their hair licenses, and not know how to do black hair. In my personal opinion, if you cannot do all types of hair, you do not get the right to call yourself a hairstylist. And there's more to being a stylist than just having a license, right? There is a lack of customer service in a lot of these spaces, and a lot of Black women are the ones who deal with the brunt of it because, again, the resources are very limited. You have these stylists who are going to school, getting these licenses, but are not required to know how to do our hair. So the people who do graduate with these licenses that know how to do our hair are very few, far and in between. So you are now left with a limited supply pool, limited resources, limited options, and you get to choose between the worst of possibly the best of the worst. It's frustrating, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it for me, and I'm sick of it for us. And I know somebody's going to come in here and be like, well, why don't you learn how to do your own hair? I do everything myself other than my sew-ins. So I guess now I just have to learn how to do my sew-ins. But if you are a Black girl in the DC area and you have found a stylist who is professional, who will respect your time, please let me know. Thank you in advance from one Black girl to another. Why does being a Black girl trying to get you?
So she brought out the fact of racism, and I talked about that a little bit in, I think it was last week or the week before that, about racism and how I'm born and raised Miami, Florida. I am 305, right? And I went to a salon. I could have went to an all-black salon, but I knew how to do black hair. So at the time, my ex-husband, he was like, why don't you go to this salon, because it had a skill set of pivot point. Pivot point is like a technique where it teaches you how to cut different techniques, how to do hair design, how to do hair coloring, dimensional, all those different things. And when I went to the salon, to the school, I dreaded it because I was the only black girl. There were black Hispanic girls, but they all spoke Spanish, and I did not speak Spanish. I understood a little, but I didn't speak it fluently, right? And but the teachers, they had to, stop and be like, Lee, explain everything or whatnot. So it was a great experience once I got over the fact that I was the only actual black person in there, learning how to do hair, right? But it was a wonderful experience because I learned clippers over clipper cut. So we had to learn men haircut, and you couldn't move on until you had it locked in, right? You couldn't move on. The teacher would tell you, no, you got to keep staying. You got to stay until you get this, right? And so, but when it came time to teach on relaxers and curly perms, it was a 15 to 20 minute course, because she started it off with black hair is difficult. And you could see all of the women speaking, I'm not touching it. And then when we got on the floor, so that's the theory. Then when we got on the floor, right, and we do the clinical, when we get on the floor, guess what? When a black Hispanic person came into the salon part of it, or a black person, I got all of them, right? Which is fine, because, at the time, I'm building up my clientele, because once you leave there, people want to follow you, right? But then I noticed when I went into, and I worked in $1 million salons, guys, $1 million salon in West Palm, down here, Pinecrest, Florida. They are people that come in and spend money. Tips are like 50 to $100, So I've been in those salons, and because I fit the look, they look at you. It's about how you carry yourself, how you speak, and your skill set. They hired me in each of these salons, and I still worked in the hood salon. And I can tell you that, hold on, and when you work in those salons, anytime a black person came into that salon, like the young girl said, that it's racism, because if you can't do all people's hair, then that's racism. I felt that way because I could do all people's hair, right? And but all the time they always had at least two. When it was those high prominent salons, they would hire at least 2 or 3 black girls, and I was one of them. And they had different shifts, so to cover it, because if you were not there and somebody black came in, and they would reschedule them to come the following day. Even though the salons I'm telling you about, we had at least 30 hairstylists on deck. So just imagine that you come in there and you're like, hey, I want to get a relaxer or a blow dry. I don't want to relax. I have natural hair. I want to get a blow dry. The people in there panic. The hairstylists. These are Hispanic hairstylists that Cuba and different things, they have coarse hair. So Dominican Republic, you have coarse hair, a lot of them. So, but they don't want to touch our hair. So they will reschedule them. And that would automatically set up like this stigma. But when the people would come back, the clients would come back, they'd be like, nobody wanted to do my hair, so I guess I can only go to a black girl. So they were offended by that, right? Because they understand that's the stigma, that we have difficult hair. So what this young lady is saying is absolutely true. The fact that there is racism, because when other races of people go to beauty school, not all of them, but majority of them, when they come out, they only want to deal with hair that is not Afro, not kinky hair. They don't want to deal with it. That's the absolute truth, And I want to hear what you have to say about it, because these are the things that we have to talk about, right? So she brought that out, and I was so happy that she talked about that, because it does make you feel some kind of way. So guess what happens? Now you're stuck with these girls that you see a friend or your coworker or in church or whatever, and they have this gorgeous hair, And then you're like, oh my gosh, her skills are wonderful. But then you go to the salon and it's garbage. You got kids running all over the place. It may not be clean. They not sanitized right. They probably using the same comb on everybody's hair who comes off of the street. So they don't practice that. They got a bad attitude. They got a little clique. They only deal with certain people. If they friend come in and you're scheduled, they're going to put their friend before you because that's their friend or that's their client and they cool with their client. So you can sit and wait. All levels of unprofessionalism you have to deal with. And like she said, you have to pick the lesser evil. You know what I mean? You may pick the one that maybe don't have the greatest skill set, but has a little bit of customer service, but she can do better. Or you got the person that has great, she can slay hair. She's a hair designer, but she's not a cosmetologist, right? So that is the hard thing. So the only thing I can say to you ladies is to the clients, and I'm not being a devil's advocate, I'm just calling a spade, is to do your research. Now, one thing I did want to point out was that she asked if you knew anybody in the DC area, which was weird because DC have a lot of great hairstylists from what I know, to recommend and let her know. Now, it was like 5,000 comments in on her video. And out of the 5,000, I scrolled down to at least 100. It was one girl that said she had someone that was on time, professional, and everything, but the client ended up moving, and she's like, I miss her so much. And guess what? She wasn't in that area. Everybody was like, send us the locations. They were desperate. It was like 3,000 hearts and comments like, please send us the location. So that's how bad, and this is 2023. We're now in 2024, about to end. And I want to say to the hairstylists, you may not like this video, but if you are one of those hairstylists that have that kind of mindset, look at the state and the mindset of clients. They don't want you to do their hair. That's why, and everybody was in the comments as well saying, hey, learn how to do your own hair. Why should she have to learn how to do her own hair? Why? If you have the skill set, why don't you step up your game? So when they come in there, they can know that. I wish that there was a salon that people could brag about and say, when you come in there, you in and out. They don't play. They respect our value and our time. But unfortunately, I don't see that. I really just don't see that. And a lot of times, I'm going to tell you this. You guys did not know this, but this is something, this is what my channel is about, talking about the beauty world and the good and the bad, the dark side and everything. A lot of stylists, I'm not just going to say black hairstylists, but women who are on welfare. When they're on welfare, they are told they need to do something, work, get a skill or whatever. And so they enroll in beauty school because they may be already good. They may be the girl around the corner she is the, what do you call it, house hairstylist. And people come to her. So she's like, I'm doing hair. So they go to beauty school, right? But it's also to solidify to the government or whoever they, getting paid the food stamps and the checks to be like they're doing something. They have to be doing something to get that check or to get the food stamps, which I'm understanding from some of my friends and they're telling me about it. And beauty school now is like, when I went to beauty school, it was 9,000. I think now it's in the 30,000. So, look at that. But a lot of these women, they're just there because the system is telling them you got to be able to do something. Otherwise, they wouldn't even be there. And then when they do finish, if they finish, a lot of them don't finish. But when they do finish and they say, well, I got a job, but I'm doing this. And the average hairstylist, if she doesn't push herself and be a hairstylist that can do all hair, from weave, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whoever, do all hair. Men, women can do all those things. The average income is minimum wage. So if it's minimum wage, they still get assistance from the government, right? So that is why you have the mindset of a lot of them are doing it under the table and they're not going to report everything. So that's what you're dealing with. So unfortunately, clients, we'll take the L for that. And I want to say to you, do your research, because although you may hear the story about how horrible we have of a lot of the mindset and the business of hairstylists, black hairstylists and black salons, do your research, because just as much as you have as many of those, you have many of great hairstylists that don't have that mindset, that do have the morals, do have the respect of you, do know that their bread and butter comes from our clients and value your time and value being professional and would love to assist you and take care of your hair. But you got to do the research, unfortunately. I pray this video helps you. I know y'all like, whoa. I was like, whoa. But these are the things that I want to talk to you guys about. Of course, I'm always going to talk about breakage and hair loss and different things like that. But I want you guys to also be able to talk about what's really happening, you know? So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.